got it at the last second. A lot of progress made at B. You could see the Steam become champions right now. Indiana Warhawks, only 3 lives remaining. 2 Steam players on the point.
What's cooking, gamers? We got Specter here, D4 champ from Altoona Steam for an interview. What's going on, Specter?
Not much, not much. Just chilling in the off season.
Nice, nice. He doesn't have a camera, unfortunately, but I think we're going to run some clips for you to show you, get a little editing magic in there. All right, so tell us about yourself and your roles for your team. We got you, we got Juju, MJ, not Shroud. What's going on with everyone there?
I've been at Tech since season 1. Was a
Nice.
D2 player, D3 player. Now I went down, started the off season at D2, then went to D3, and then built my team at D4. We started originally with Commander Jug, as you know, and then he had to step out due to family health issues and take care of that probably week 4, maybe 3, I want to say.
Okay.
And that's when we picked up MJ. And so I'm the MJ is, to be honest, all 4 of us are flex players, to be perfectly honest. And it really shouldn't work. But somehow, I don't know how, it does. Because we all have our differing maps that we're really, really good on.
Yeah,
like,
you all can adjust to different situations when need be. Be like,
exactly.
Hey, this is my map, I'll take the lead type of deal.
Like Crossroads, my favorite map. I'm so upset to see it go.
Yeah, that's Call of Duty.
But we played on that map probably almost every single week. It was in the map counts.
Mhm.
If we had to pick out a hard AR, so how it was before was Jug was our hard AR player. He was our anchor. That's how he played. He was the last person back, last man to die. But kind of how it worked once we brought MJ into that, he was a flex player at first and running a sub and a Krig. And then as the season progressed, he pushed more towards the Krig. So he kind of turned into a hard AR, but still would have a sub out in situations, right?
Yeah, so even he was a flex at pretty much.
Yeah, and Juju's probably the closest thing we have to a pure sub player, I would say. And then Shroud and me play pretty identical. I can say the same thing for MJ too. That's why he actually came over, was because him and me had played in some pickup scrims in the off season and during the season, and the chemistry was just there. Like, we just played off of each other, and if we were on opposing teams, we literally canceled out each other.
That's good. Yeah, so like the unstoppable duo type of deal. You know, you got my back, I'll get yours. You know, you go out, get the calls, I'll get the kills type of deal.
Exactly.
Nice, nice. Now you said you worked away from D2 down to D4. Now, was that your decision? Was that due to fitting better in a lower division? You know, just starting out a brand new Division 4. Like, give us a little background on that.
So what happened was, basically in the off season, I played in all the divisions because at the beginning of the off season we had a really, really solid D1 team. Well, that's not true. The beginning of the off season we didn't have a D1 team. Is the easiest way to put it. We had a D2 team, and then we had some players who ended up leaving.
Okay.
And then that was the D1 team who ended up leaving. That was supposed to be the D1 team for that season. And then they decided, oh, we don't want to play here because these 2 players don't want to play with us, and then this and that. And then we ended up, the D2 team that was practicing, we were doing great. And then those 2 players, they didn't want to, we kind of all agreed, the 4 of us, that we didn't want to play up to D1. We didn't think we were ready for that. So then what happened was those players left, and then it was just me and Frey, who was our D2 captain this season. And then what happened was we kind of were working our way through who was still on the team and everything, and we settled on Shroud and Juju, who you see are still with me.
Yeah.
And we were playing for a while, and then Frey had started playing with some of his friends from outside the league, and they came in, and they were better than me, Shroud, and Juju. And we ended up saying, well, you go with Frey and make that team because they have obvious chemistry. And I'll take Juju and Shroud, and we'll go down to D4 because D3 was filled in at that time.
Looks like
Gotcha.
And
5
so
right now.
we were looking for our 4th. There was a couple people who we were looking at that were still available,
Mhm.
and we settled on Jug because as soon as we started playing with him, we clicked. It was just perfect. And that's kind of how we ended up down to D4, but we were still
So you
battling.
had a D2 team on D4 type of deal. You just ended up getting more players that are better in everyone's eyes. So you kind of got bumped down and helped build a brand new Division 4.
Yeah, and we had
Gotcha,
been battling to try and get that D3 spot, but it ended up that we stayed D4.
Well, season champs, you could be anything now. The ceiling's the limit. So.
That's what people tell me.
All right. Now what was your score going into the postseason? How was your team there?
How many games were there in the season? What,
I
11,
think
13?
It was like 12, 11?
Maybe? Then if it was 12, we would have been 10-2. We
Okay.
lost twice.
You only
throughout
lost 2
the
games.
entire-
Good. That's
Yep.
It's a good score. So you came in probably like 3rd or 4th seed, something
Second.
like that. Second seed. There you
Second underneath Frederick.
go. Okay. And you ended up against the Warhawks in the final.
Yep.
So it was, probably good for you that you weren't against the Colonials. Now, going against the Warhawks, how did you do against them during the regular season?
So the Warhawks was an early matchup for us,
Mhm.
and we played them when they had a mixture of players on their team. And we played them with Jug the first game.
Yeah.
And it ended
So
up
everything
being a 3-1 them. We took first hard point again on Crossroads,
Mm-hmm.
and then they came back on the rest, and we were kind of upset about that because we wanted to win that game really badly. So
Yeah.
that's
so coming into the finals, you saying Crossroads is your map, and you took them 250 to 125 on Crossroads. So definitely your map for sure. As a team chemistry altogether, taking them to double the score, it's quite a feat.
yeah, we were trying to 100-point club them.
I mean,
And Juju,
if that's what you're going after, some people just go for the win, and here you are, just shoving them more into the dirt.
we wanted to make a statement because we had
Yeah,
lost to them during
you
the
came in
season.
a big statement overall. Search and destroy 6-2, control 3-0. You just straight 3-0 swept them off the start.
Yeah. Juju actually, we had a bet going with Juju because Juju has an afro, right? And we had a bet that if he didn't drop, I think it was 40 kills or 3 minutes on point in the hard point, we were
Ooh,
going to
you had
shave his
save it,
head.
huh? Oh, man.
And he dropped over 3 minutes in the hill as the first person in tech to do it on any of the league matches.
Yeah, in a final yet. That's
Yeah.
when you need to turn up.
And that game was blast to play in.
Wow. Good on him. Good on him. He was keeping his hair. He was like, whoo, I'm making sure I drop this.
Shroud did incredibly in the S&D.
Yeah, all of you did very well at certain parts. You all had your strengths. Like you said, Shroud, the S&D player, you got that Crossroads down. Everyone just did such a great job during those 3 games. 3-0 sweep on the Warhawks, and not easy. 2 teams that have been here for quite a while. So two big giants clashing at the end there, but not much of a clash getting that 3-0 sweep. And the 3 games weren't really that close either. Now,
Yeah.
what was your favorite moments during the postseason?
So there was a little bit of beef between us and Yetis. There was also beef between us and Indiana, but there was beef between us and Yetis because they were an early on matchup for us, and we played them when we still had Jug. And the entire time we played them, we 3-1 them, which was the same score it ended up being in the semifinal. We 3-1 them because in the regular season you had to do host swapping, as you know. So when we were on our host, we were great, and then we swapped over to their host for the S&D, and literally none of us could shoot back because lag everything. It was great.
Yeah,
and the entire time, each of the games, they were shooting our bodies, and it was really starting to piss us off. And so we swept them after that. We were like, we're not losing another map. Took them 3-1. And then in the, I don't know if you saw it, but there was a decent bit of body shooting in the semifinal match because they, I got
Some animosity,
disconnected.
yeah.
Yeah, I got DQ'd in the DC'd in the first map, and I couldn't join back. And then I was like, I'm gonna regen. Boys regened, and we just came back and we just hit it harder immediately, and we just swept them from there. Because even my boys, even with a man down, they almost won that Crossroads. That was a tight game. It was like 220, 228 to 250, playing a man down, and I was so proud of my boys for that.
Yeah, and it's all about how you bounce back, mentally, and just keeping the team on track, being like, hey, even though we're down, like, let's keep our heads in it. It's going to be 3-4 in search sometimes, so you guys got to know how to play it with just 3 people, and able to keep composure like that and still almost get it. It's quite a feat. What was Steam's biggest weaknesses that you saw overall?
Adapting to MJ as a new player on the squad and figuring out where he fit in. Because we got him transferred in, and then a day later we had to play Frederick, which is our other rival. Yeah. So it was like this has got to happen. We got to do great, and we didn't beat them, but it was a 3-2 series. So it was as close as it could be.
Yeah. Being a new player, there's only so much you can ask of him, and even bringing it to 3-2, really, amazing job by him to try and come in there and almost get it. And clearly it was a great fit. You must have worked him in. Talk about some of the strats and the comms and stuff, and how you worked with MJ and your whole team to come together there to finally take the final game there.
Well, MJ was the divisional captain for D4 over at Indiana. And so it was kind of him coming over here because he knew I was divisional cap. It was kind of like a step down for him. But it also helped the team because it was somebody else who had really good knowledge for strats and that kind of stuff. So if one of the strats wasn't quite working, he was able to say, like, give critiques and say, this is how we need to change this, maybe do something different. And that was great to have on the squad. And it was, Moscow S&D was probably one of our favorite S&D maps to play on, and it was how we played it before and after MJ came. It was a totally different game.
That's great. Yeah, bringing in that Warhawk strategy. And how do you think him coming from the Warhawks and ending up against the Warhawks in the final, how do you think that kind of changed the outcome?
Definitely changed it, because if MJ was on the opposing team, I would have been shut down, which would have made that Crossroads very different.
Fair enough. Now, who would you say would be MVP for your team for the season and postseason as a whole, and why?
If you want my input, and I know my boys would probably have it a little different, I would want it to be Jug, because that is my boy. He actually had to step down, and it was a real bummer on all of us for the season. But I think we definitely made him proud. And he was there right along cheering us on during that championship game. He was there to congratulate us after the game. He was there to pump us up before it. And I think
that's fair enough. Keeping that man back, doing it for the reason he had to step down, help his family, all for good reasons, and he's still there cheering you on in the background. Sometimes it's that positive reinforcement. You're playing and be like, man, like, I gotta step up. Jug's watching. He stepped down. I gotta treat him good. I gotta show him. We're doing this for a reason. And you clearly showed up and showed out.
Yes, we definitely made him proud. It's a very proud dad moment for him.
There you go. What are some tips that you can give some people that would like to be season champions? What do you think gives a champ team the edge?
This game is all about chemistry. It's not about roles. It's all about chemistry. If you can put 4 incredible players together, and sometimes they'll do great, but sometimes they'll do awful because they don't know how to play off of each other. They can't play as a team. You can put one player with one incredibly great Slayer with some mid to middle road players and have an unbeatable team just because they can play off of each other. And I think finding those players that don't have like the big egos and you aren't constantly fighting and stuff like that, it's super important. It's super difficult to find players that like the vibe is good and stuff like that. And once that happens, the team just kind of comes together and they get better.
Yeah, so mentality, very big part of it. Keeping the positive vibes, and it's really big when you're down. You're not always going to be winning, and when you're losing, and you still keep those good vibes, you still keep that positive attitude. That's how you come back. When you're losing, you're behind, and you're like, I'm missing my shots today. I'm just not on it. I'm going to lose this game. You're going to lose it. But if you're, like you said, that champ winning strat, just keep the positive vibes, keep that cohesion between everyone, bounce back off of each other. When one guy falls back, the other guy's there to pick them up. And, you come back and you become the Season 3 D4 champions for Altoona's team. Now, what's going on for you and the team after this season? What are we going to see from you guys next?
We are currently playing in another league in the off season.
Okay, getting some practice in.
Yeah, we want to stay together and keep grinding.
Yeah,
and then then we'll come back next season. We're gonna be D4 or D3 most likely.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on. Same thing
All
in last
four as a
season.
Group, you think will come to D3?
Yeah, we're staying together.
Nice. That would be real something to see, each season work your way up and, keep going in a row. That's really something. I don't think we've seen that yet.
We want to go back to back.
Yeah,
I'll say that right now. We want to go back to back.
That's history books. We definitely like to see that.
So we're excited for the next season to start. We're excited what the other teams are going to bring to the table.
Yeah, we're excited to see you guys back in the finals and hopefully pull another one out for us.
That's the plan.
All right, Specter, thanks for coming in. Our D4 Season 3 champion, Specter with Juju, MJ, and not Shroud with Altoona team. Great job. You guys cooked it up. Keep on cooking it up out there. Thanks for stopping in. This has been Tech Interviews.